Hey everyone, it's Thursday, 4th of July week, and I'm on vacation. Can you tell? No, I really like working. So every day's a vacation, right? Luke's with me today. We have some exciting things we're going to talk about, but he's just going to hang out a little bit. When the girl said, "What is your live going to be about?" I'm like, I don't know, like Seinfeld, about nothing, but we'll just talk about whatever comes up. So today was what we could come up with at the last minute here to talk about. So I have a few things I'm going to go through before Luke and I have a little chit chat about where we were last week. And even, I'm just going to warn you right now, even if you're not a Bernina person, hang out with us. Stay till the end and listen to everything because it's super cool. All right. Okay, but I just want to shout out to Ann Cooper. I guess you already gave us a super chat of $20. Thank you so
Thanks,
much. That's awesome, Ann. We sure appreciate that. Like I said, it all gets saved for equipment or whatever we need for the girls and the guys now, because I guess Luke's going to have some video help downstairs with the Bernina stuff. All right. Like our new Bernina swag shirts we got. We're going to figure out how to sell these to you too. We didn't really get like a deal on these. We pay like retail for these.
No, they don't give them away.
Yeah, they don't give these away. I think they were $25 for us. So we'll figure out if you want one of these shirts. I think they came in red.
We got black, red.
I got like a really cool
black, blue,
zip.
And red.
Yeah. So we'll have some Bernina
and then the
swag
too.
On our site.
All
too.
of these are available in the hoodie. In a hoodie as well.
Yeah, several different styles.
What did Jake call them? Soft color? Soft?
I don't know.
There's certain quality of t-shirt. What did he say? Soft color?
Soft touch or something like that?
Something like that. Anyways, they're really nice. Really, really nice.
Yes. Everybody already who works here is like, Amy's like, I want one of them and I want one of them. And the hoodies were really cool too.
Yeah.
All right. So just a couple things while we're everybody's jumping on. Say hi. Heidi, show me the feed if you know how to do that. Heidi's here today. Kaylee is on vacation, real vacation. So, Jess is like, anyway. So Heidi's on vacation. So, no. Kaylee's on vacation. So we have Heidi, and she's like, I hope I can do all what you asked. So the last minute, I'm throwing stuff at her. So if not, if it doesn't work out, it's okay, Heidi. You're doing the best you can, right? Right? We're all doing the best we can here.
I figured out the confetti button, so
she already figured out the confetti button.
What do you mean, hit the confetti button?
Do it again.
Well, now I gotta find it again.
We put her on the spot.
Yeah, you put me on the spot.
Oh, anyway, so if you see me itching, I got a couple Skeeto bites from the fireworks.
There it is.
I got a couple Skeeto bites from the fireworks. We took the boat to Winneconne, and we were like so close. The kids were so in awe about. They were like blasting right over our heads, and we didn't get any debris or anything like that, but there was just enough wind, so we didn't get any of that, but it was super fun. And I've been hanging out with the little ones. I get to go pick them back up today and hang out with them for the whole weekend, and I love doing that. So if you see me going, I have three, one on my knee, one on my thing here, and then one over here. So I apologize in advance. They're just speeders. All right, what did you do?
I was with you.
Not on 4th of July.
Not yesterday. No, I was up north.
Hanging out with who?
Not Marty Klein, but she just gave us $5.
Oh, yeah. All right. Marty, thank you so much. Do that confetti thing again.
I'm doing it.
All right. Okay. I got a couple announcements, couple things going on here. Of course, we have prizes for you today, so please keep commenting. And we will share what the prizes are in a little bit, but I want to warn you a little bit. So this pattern that went out in the quilt box in June, we have a little boo-boo in it. So I'm trying to give a heads up on it. And it is in our directions where it says cut 16 2.5 by 6.5. It should be 16 4.5 by 6.5. So if you're in the quilt box subscription for this quilt called Stateside, please change that to 4.5. If you have already started cutting this out, there is room for you to recut this size. So that's one good thing. we always try to give you a little extra fabric in case you make a mistake and in case we make a mistake. So there is enough for you to cut those 16 4.5 by 6.5 if you didn't already do so. All right, what was that? Oh, Valerie, wow, thanks for being so generous. We appreciate anything to help out our staffing and our, like I said, these super chats. We appreciate it. We love all those fun things that you can give us.
I love
maybe like taking the girls on vacation when they need it, or
Sounds like
a day.
Great idea.
Yeah. Heidi says that's a good idea. All right, so FYI, there you go. We have a little boo-boo in here, and I think it's a cut and paste thing because down below it says you're 4.5 by 6.5. So it's one of them graphical cut and paste things. That's what I'm going to blame it on. All right, but hopefully we are looking for someone to help us with the quilt box with proofing these patterns. So we will give someone all of these ahead of time. Just give us a email at Heidi@primitivegatherings.us. Heidi N. All right. If you want to be our quilt box tester. Hayden at Primitive Gatherings. She's hiding. She's always hiding. Every time I come in here, the lights are off and I can't find her behind her computer screen. That is true.
She likes working in the dark.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to help us out with that, that would be great. Because sometimes we're under the gun. But most of the time we have everything ahead of time and we just miss those things. I don't know how it happens, but it does. Okay. Let's start then with some of the things that are coming up. I know, we always do what's coming up at the gathering. So we have Cross Stitch Club coming up for July 19th. Heidi, do you know how to find that?
Oh, yeah. Maybe not.
All right, no worries. There you go. Cross Stitch Club. Look at how good Heidi is doing.
Yay.
All right. So this is July 19th if you want to join us. And Kathy has some really cool surprises for you for Cross Stitch Club coming up. And then what am I supposed to do with this one? Anybody know? Jess, what was I supposed to do with this one?
That's just the upcoming events.
Okay. So flash this on the screen. Black Star Flower Farm. Again, we're waiting for that subscription thing to happen. I'm going to get on them. I promise. This week, I'm going to nail them to a date. And then we're going to talk about Twilight Stars Quilt Along in a minute here. Get ready for Joyful, as that's probably coming in August. That is a quilt along also with Joyful Gatherings. Our Red, White, and Green Quilt Show. We have some signups. I would like a lot more signups. We have room for 150 quilts for that quilt show in November during our Primitive Christmas event. So please go on our website, find Red, White, and Green Quilt Show and sign up. We would love to show your quilt and hopefully you win some of our great prizes we have for that. And then, of course, we have Live with Lisa and Luke or whoever on every Thursday at 1 p.m. And there is not going to be a comment sold today. Do you want to know why? Because they are having a computer glitch, so we cannot do it. And I'm just happy that we're not the only ones with computer glitches or boo-boos or whatever you want to say. So sorry to disappoint. I'm kind of crabby too that we don't have a comment sold because we didn't have one on Tuesday, did we? No, we haven't had one all week. So that makes me a little crabby when we don't have those sales. All right, we have Kitting for Beginners coming up. July 21st is the first of 6 sessions with Irma, and you are going to want to hang out with Irma. I want to go hang out even though I don't really want to know how to knit because I can't possibly put one more thing that I need to know in my life. But Irma is super cool, and you will love her. And then we also have added a punch needle class on October 7th, and that is October 7th, 2023, 9 to noon, a 3-hour class. If you want to get on that, call the gathering and sign up for that ASAP. And then we also have a rug hooking club, a rug hooking instructor coming, Katie Puckett, and she has some things for you there. She is a 3rd generation rug hooker out of Florida. She's one of my friends, and we are just starting to take registrations for that again at the gathering. Then also, these have just been added to our list, and these are early. We don't have the flyers ready for these. The girls just finalized these things in the morning when I came in. So let's see what's first. Okay, All Things Pumpkin. If you want to get on the list before we close this out, I know we already have 15 people for the first week, so we are only taking day students for the first week, which is September 23rd. No, sorry. This is something else. All right, I have one thing in my head. All right, this is All Things Pumpkin. All Things Pumpkin, one-day event, the 23rd, and that is from 10 to 4:30. We are going to have All Things Pumpkin, lattes, scones, a wool project with pumpkin theme, and this price includes the kit. We have pumpkin-infused lunch, pumpkin-themed desserts, and pumpkin favors, and all pumpkin. Everything is a pumpkin. Again, one day only, and the price is $175 for that event. And then we have December 1st and 2nd. That is our Sip, Sew, and Shop and Stay. So $200 for that Friday and Saturday. So you come early on Friday and you leave late on Saturday. You can sew for 2 whole days. This includes a quad, triple, single rooms available, all for $200. It's that late in the year where not a lot of people are coming to the gathering. So we're trying to give you a deal to come and hang out with us for those things. And it says you will get a wine tumbler with your registration to take home with you, lunch and dinner on Friday. Enjoy shopping till 8 p.m. Bring your own sewing project, late night chocolate fondue, snacks provided. Bring your own wine and spirits. We can't serve you wine, but you can bring your own. And then brunch is included on Saturday at 10 a.m. But you can sew, I think, until late in the day, till 4, right, Jess? I think.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is what I was just talking about, but saying something else. So naughty or nice, we have 1 whole week filled already for lodging. So we don't have any lodging spots for December 5th through the 11th. But if you want to come as a day student, we do have spots for that. And then we added a second week. They twisted my arm. So that one is, okay, I did that wrong. The 4th through the 10th. And then the second session is the 11th through the 17th. All right. So you will get, if you're staying here, it is $325 plus your lodging. And then if you're not staying here, it's $550 for daily students. And that is a whole week of sewing. And we are going to do 1 big quilt and then 2 other projects. All fabrics for the projects are included, class instructions by me, and then daily lunch, Monday dinner, Sunday brunch for all guests, breakfast, lunch, and dinner each day for lodging guests, exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of primitive gatherings. And if you haven't been here a while, things have changed, so you want to see it again. It's getting better every time. And then local field trip, swag bags, gift cards for the lodging guests are included in that as well. So if you want to get a head start on that, I think we already have 8 people for session 2 staying. So those are filling up fast. Call the gathering for all of that. And then things that we are also going to talk about. We have Sunrise at Crepe Park by Jill Shawlish. So she is going to come and do a retreat with us on foundation piecing, and that is on November 9th. And we will have kits available for the project. And that is from Jill is from Yellow Creek Designs. And Heidi, did you have a better picture of that or not?
Which one? We did not.
We did
No,
not.
we did
Okay,
not.
so I'm going to show you this picture, but it's really not a good picture. Okay, it's very not good. All right, so here's a picture of it. And wait a minute, I need Heidi to come back here. Where'd she go? All right, we'll come back to that.
I got one I can talk about real quick.
Okay.
So I just got this in. So as many of you guys know, we're going to be vending at the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show in Madison. It's the Madison Quilt Show. The dates for that show are September 7th through the 9th. But some of you might know this, but we're actually going to be sponsoring a classroom there. And I just got, Sabrina sent me the information. If anyone's interested in learning the Q series, the Bernina quilting machines, in specific the sit down, so that's the Q16 and the Q20. These are the best machines on the market if you're limited in space and you need a dedicated quilting machine. So we're going to be sponsoring. I think we got to supply a dozen of these machines.
They're going to be set up for you to play with.
So the actual class itself is put on by the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show and Bernina, and we're just sort of facilitating the classroom. So they have a really great educator. But I want to let everybody know, if you're interested in that class, registration opens July 11th, and the website you're going to go to is quiltshow.com. And register for that Q series. I don't have the name of the actual event yet. They're getting us details now, but that's going to be opening up. So go to quiltshow.com, July 11th. If you're in the area and you're interested in taking a really cool class that's hands-on. A lot of these, especially long arm classes, they're lecture style, which for me is kind of boring. You pay a bunch of money.
You want to be on the machine.
Yeah, you want to be on it. So we invested quite a bit to make this happen so people actually can sit down at their own machine. From my understanding, there's going to be 2 classes per day. So they're like 2, couple hour classes or whatever. So it's not too long. It's kind of a make and take type of thing. Again, there'll be more details, I'm sure, on the website on the 11th, but it should be a really great time. So go ahead and register that. It opens up in a what is it? That's only less than a week. So July 11th.
Right. So that'll probably fill up fast.
Yes. So it's going to be, I think it's either at least 2 or 3 days, and it's 2 sessions per day from my understanding. But if you're interested in that, you want to get your hands on one of the Q series, go to that and register there for the, and we're also a advanced ticket sale. So for local people, come in and buy your tickets for the quilt show ahead of time.
Okay. Call first, though, if you're making a trip, just make sure we have them in here, right?
Yeah, I believe we have everything.
We have everything?
Coming up. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, and I think, if you're in the market for one of them sit down things, I think they sell them pretty reasonable at the show there too.
Yeah.
Demo models.
Yep.
Might be a great
classroom
deal.
specials.
Classroom specials are coming up for that. Just a heads up for you. Okay. So back to Jill. All right. Can you
we need some focus.
Focus on that, Hyde. All right. All right, so it's one of those that you're going to foundation piece. So it's one of those very difficult ones that's going to make it very easy by doing foundation piecing. And Jill is really, really great at that. I've known Jill for a long, long time. She's a great teacher, and that will be kitted for you as well with Jill's latest fabrics. And it's scrappy. So the only thing that's that circle part of that's going to be one color, but all the flying geese are going to be scrappy. And don't worry about flying geese. I know a lot of you freak out about flying geese. I'm going to talk about flying geese in a little bit, but you're going to do that foundation piecing. So they are going to be absolutely perfect. And that class again was November 9th here at Primitive Gatherings at the Gathering. And like I said, call the girls, reserve a kit, reserve your spot, because we're hoping to fill that up as soon as possible. And then as well as we're talking about teachers coming in, we have Doug Lico coming in September 13th through the 17th. And we have classes the 14th through the 16th. So he will be here teaching out of one of his newest books, Stashtastic 2. And this is the quilt that he is going to be teaching. And of course, you can make it like this, or you can make it with any of your fabrics you want. But Doug is a fantastic quilter, teacher, and you will love him. He grew up in a quilt shop, so he's young, but you are still going to learn from him, all right? He will know something you don't know, so don't think that he has nothing to teach you, because you'd be surprised what these newer kids can teach us. All right, then we have something coming up here in the shop at Primitive Gatherings called Christmas in July. It's a little local shop hop, and it is 5 quilt shops going to pieces. My favorite quilt shop, Primitive Gatherings, Quilting Divas, and so. And the dates on that is July 26th through the 29th. And you visit all shops listed, enter prize drawing, and have your card stamp and have some fun with that shop hop. Okay, Wow. Here's the fabrics for Jill's new fabric line that's coming out. So it's kind of very all different colors, kind of repo, I would say, dark saturated colors. And of course, you'd put that with a creamy background. But we'll have this at the shop if you want to come and see that. Whew. Okay, we're getting down there. We're almost ready for.
Quite a few announcements,
All right.
actually.
Yeah, I know. We always say a few, and then
It's like a couple announcements.
Couple, yeah.
A lot of
Hey.
stuff going on.
Valdani has a new color, and it is called O102, and it comes in 12, 5, and 8. It's beautiful variegated blue. I'll show you that. All right. Kind of that medium to light blue variegation. So I just wanted to tell you about that. And then next, I'm going to talk about Twilight Stars. So I'm super excited that you guys are joining in. It's so much fun to see all of the quilt blocks being posted on Stitch with Lisa Bongean. And some of you have won our weekly drawing already. So I'm going to announce the winner of week 3 in a bit, but I want to go through the blocks so far of mine. So here are week 1 blocks. Hopefully I got this right. Heidi has 25 pins in here. So here is week 1 blocks. These are my fabrics, and I am using a combination of mine and McDonald. What's her first name? Jackie McDonald from Sweet Fire Road. So this one's mine. This one's Jackie's fabric. They go really, really well together. So this is week 2. I'm going to put them together so Heidi can keep all of this straight. She's so organized. And then week 3's blocks. Both mine fabrics. For some reason, I am in love with this block. I might make a quilt with just this block. Do you agree? There's something cool about it. I don't know what. Different. I think that's what it is. It's different. All right, so those were week 3's. And this week's winner for posting her blocks, and you get a couple stickers, a little 1/4-inch guide, bunch of caramels. Fran Hoffmeister, you are the winner. And there's her blocks. So Heidi has this all set for you to send out. Now, how do you get to win our weekly prizes? Heidi, put that back up.
Which one?
Put up Fran's blocks.
There
So
it is.
this is what you need to do. You need to post the 2 blocks that you find on my blog. Each week I give you 2 blocks, 2 different numbers. So last week they were 10 and 92. So you post your 2 blocks with the book and a triangle paper. That's all you need to do to be in the running to win. And then the best part is if you win one of those 50 or 52 weeks that we're going to do that, you may be eligible for the grand prize of a $250 gift card for the store, or these guys are going to quilt your quilt for you. Either way, you get to pick. Isn't that fun? All right, I know what I would pick.
What?
I'd pick getting my quilt quilted. Okay, so now I see a lot of stuff on Stitch with Lisa about flying geese. And I get that not everybody is the best on flying geese. So here's my half square triangles already. Block 9. You think that's going to be next week's? It's not. So don't get all hyper and start making block 9. That's not it. All right. These are a couple weeks down the road, but I plan mine out like this. All right. And then I have all of my flying geese units here. Now, if you choose to make them like I do, and I know there are 15 different ways to make flying geese. So I'm just going to give you a couple tips on how I make them and what makes mine successful without doing all those other things, without marking, without buying a special ruler for $30 to trim down your half square triangle or trim down your flying geese units. And I get that some of you think you have to do that because you can't be perfect. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not always perfect. All right. And I still make my blocks work. It's all about knowing how to compensate if something has a little wiggle to it. But if you do some of the things that I'm going to tell you next, you probably won't have to compensate. All right. So the first thing that you obviously need to do to be successful is to starch your fabrics. So if you're not starching your fabrics, don't be asking how come yours don't turn out. All right. Starch does make a difference. So starch those fabrics. And then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to cut your squares and your triangles accurately. So if you're not cutting your square the right size and then doing this accurately and doing your half square triangles correctly, you can't sew accurately. So make sure you take the time to cut accurately. And if that means having a better ruler to see better, what's making you not cut accurately? So figure that out. So if it's not the right size, like I said, I show you some of the rulers that I use, and I use those specifically because I can see where I'm at. There's a lot of rulers on the market that I can't cut accurately with. I've tried. And that's maybe why you're not, because maybe you can sew accurately, but if you're not cutting accurately, that makes a big difference. All right. So I'm going to back up here and I'm going to tell you a couple other things. All right. So when you put this triangle onto the big triangle, you have to make sure that you're lined up perfectly. All right. So when you turn it around, make sure you don't see any black or any of that colored triangle peeking through. You do not want to see that. Make sure they are lined up perfectly when you stitch them, because guess what? Sometimes I have to rip this out because I didn't line them up perfectly. If you don't line them up perfectly, then they don't come out nicely. And I use the term perfectly loosely. All right. We want to aim for perfect, but trust me, they still do work if we're not perfect. Now, once you have that one lined up, then you take the second triangle and you line it up as perfect as you can, right? And then you sew your 1/4 inch. And when you sew this 1/4 inch, it should come right in that corner, right there. So can you show that perfect or show that closer, Heidi? So when you see my line here, I sewed with cream colored thread, and right here on that joint is where you need to aim.
It's as close as we can get with this one.
All right. So see that? Don't cut off this dog ears. Leave those on for a bit. So once that is sewn, then you're going to press that open, and then you have this. Okay. So then you're going to cut off your dog ears, and you kind of see how this one has a little bit of a little hump here, even though you sometimes get that. So then I will take my ruler and I'm going to know that this should be, I think this is just off the top of my head, 2.5 by 4.5, because mine are 8-inch blocks finished. So this should be 2.5 by 4.5. So I can put this line here on my 2.5 and trim off that little bit of a hump I'm going to have here. All right. And then you end up with a perfect flying geese with your perfect 1/4 inch seam right there. And when you sew those, I like to see, when I sew this to my piece center, I like to sew on this side so I can see right where that intersection is. And if I have to fudge that a little bit, I'll fudge it. Does that make sense? I hope so. So try those little hints before you go buy a $30 specific size ruler. If you want to draw lines and do the 4 at a time method, fine, do that too if you cannot do this. But give this a try with some of the things that I have just told you. But don't think that every time I do it, I'm exactly perfect, because I'm not. But I know how to fudge it when I need to. So I think a lot of quilters are super hard on themselves. And if you think that you can't make this perfect, you give up. And you think you need a $30 ruler to make that flying geese work. You don't. Right? Just be patient and know that if you lop off a point or whatever, it's okay. All right. The more you do this, the better you should get. All right. And make sure you have all the things that make you a better quilter. Correct lighting, nice fine thread. Use those Orfil threads. All those things matter in your seam allowance and all that kind of stuff.
I feel like we're our own worst
critics.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys are way too hard on yourselves. And if it can't be perfect, you're like, oh, I give up.
With quilting, it's like the same thing. Like when you're like doing it yourself and you're off by like that eighth of an inch, it drives you crazy. And then someone who's not been quilting it will walk by and be like, oh my God,
it's beautiful.
That thing's amazing. Meanwhile, you're like having a micro panic attack, wondering, if it's going, good enough or whatever. So,
all right. You have a question, Heidi?
Nope, I was just with my camera.
All right. How are we doing, Jessica? Do you have any questions for us? Yeah. Yes. And if somebody's got some other tips, like I just see tiny drops of washable glue, help you keep those stabilized when you're lining up. Hey, if that stuff works for you, give it a try. There's nothing wrong with taking some hints like that as well. But I do want to make a little bit of an announcement, because sometimes we run across these and I don't want to feel like we're the big bad wolf here. But in our stitch group, please don't give out any measurements of our things. We have measurements and instructions on the blog. And if people want those, please send them the link to the blog right where it is so they can find them. But don't be telling them this needs to be this and this needs to be that, and that, because really, that's giving away the reason why we have it on the blog. And I know you're probably innocent. You don't know why we do the things we do, but it's for, to get you to go to the blog, to print those things out, to reference those things that we have there. Help them out by showing them where to go, not giving them the directions. Okay, so double pinky swear. And like I said, I know that you're just trying to help, that you don't really know that you shouldn't be doing that, but I'm telling you now. Okay, and don't take a photo of our directions and paste it on Stitch with Lisa Bongean. You can't be doing that. Okay, so if you notice that your comment or your post has been removed, okay, it might be because you shouldn't have probably done it. And we're not trying to be big bad meanies. We're just trying to protect our stuff. Okay?
Patterns aren't free?
Patterns are not free, even though they're free if we give them to you free. Okay? Not you to give them to somebody else. They're our property. Okay? I hope that might make without me seeming like a witch.
It's
okay?
just copyright stuff.
Yeah, it's all copyright. And we want them to have our copies of it, not you guys. And I know most of you get that, but some of you are new and you don't know that. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be crabby about it. I'm just trying to get everybody on the same page. Okay? All right. I think it's time for us to talk about our fun week that we had. All right. So still hang around. We're going to give away prizes at the end. But I know that we're going to talk about Bernina next and our week in Dallas, which was hotter than blazes. All right. But hang out. Even if this isn't your jam, if you sew on something else, I still want you to hang around for this because it's super fun and interesting. Okay. I'll let Luke start us off and then I will be the whatever. But I just want you to know that I picked Bernina for a reason to be featured here at Primitive Gatherings. I always knew they were a top-notch company, always. I mean, I have two Berninas. I have a 1260 and I have a 1530. But I am going to have the first 790 Pro that comes in. It's going to be mine. And I can't wait. I have a couple projects here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to stitch on them. But I spent that week in Dallas thinking, I'm just going to, like work on my stuff and I'm just going to be there for when I need to be there. But it was truly so fascinating and so interesting that I didn't do any of my work there. Okay. Bernina went above and beyond. It was like being at a Mona party every day. It was so awesome how they did this whole week. The food was amazing. I felt like every time I turned around, they were feeding us.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the big parties that we went to. And then like during breaks between classes, they'd have What did they have, Luke, that you just had for the first time?
A macaroon.
A macaroon. They had like all these macaroons, and then they had these big cookies like this that had frosting in the middle and another cookie, like just all out there in between classes. And
so for people that don't know, Bernina hosts a big, well, I think we got a little bit. So Bernina, like once a year, there's a big event that Bernina puts on for all of the dealers. And it's really cool because it's time for them to sort of celebrate, you know, the partnerships that they have with the dealer network. As many of you might know, you cannot buy Berninas online. They're very strict about that. There's a couple models that they're releasing now, but they operate through a dealer network. They want to protect the product. They don't want things to just be shipped off and
they want you to have somebody
support,
supporting you, which is
thing.
your dealer.
So every year they have what's called Bernina University, and this is where they have, and this is my first one as well.
Yeah, I was blown away.
Yeah, and so essentially there's a big hotel, and they have a bunch of conference rooms, and they have dinners for recognizing, you know, new dealers and top dealers and highest growth, and then they fill the week full of classes where you can learn. So one of the ones that I was super intrigued by was the quilting with an embroidery machine and kind of doing custom quilting in a hoop. It was really great. And then everything from how to use social media to, you know, specific product knowledge to product reveal. So that's where they reveal the latest and greatest machines and what we can expect going forward. But it was, I mean, what a cool company. I mean, I was just blown away. Like I've been super happy working with them because they're always so helpful. Mm-hmm. The sort of the management, the sales managers, the district manager Sabrina, Heather, the Q Series district manager for us. It's just been awesome. But like to go there and see that in person and what they put on for us was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. Very amazing.
You kind of likened it to like a Moda.
Yeah, so when we go to market, like Moda throws this big party. They have all kinds of entertainment and they feed us like we're kings and queens. And they just Moda treats their shop owners like better than any other fabric company in the industry, right? And it's just because they do it for every one of them. You know, it's like this whole this whole hotel ballroom filled with shop owners, and they give away prizes, and it's just so this was like a whole week of that.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, I'm sure there's not as many there's way more quilt shops than there are Bernina dealers, but it was like that on a little bit smaller scale, but it was a whole week of it, so it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think I gained 10 pounds.
You gained 10 pounds.
So we had a Century Club, so we got a bunch of awards here. We got a Century Club.
What does Century Club mean?
So that's if you sell a certain amount of product, it's like you're in the top of the
top
dealers,
100,
something like that. Overall, is the Century Club.
So there was a big dinner for that.
Yeah, and like it was. I mean,
was that the one that we?
That was the casino
night. Yeah,
fake casino.
Yeah, that was the one where you won a prize.
Yeah, we won a free event. So we can talk more about that. But so the Century Club dinner was this. I mean, it was like a ballroom, right? And then they had a band, and they had this thing set up where they gave us like fake money, and we could go and kind of gamble, and then you turned in your fake poker chips for raffle tickets, and then they had prizes. I mean, it was really like I felt like nothing was phoned in.
Yeah.
Like, so we talked about the macaroons. Like literally I went and I did like a class on like embroidery digitizing, or I forget what it was, some lecture in the morning, like at one of the days, when I step out and they have all this food piled there, right? So I walk up to this and I'm like, what are these? And like someone's like, that's a macaroon. And I'm like, that looks good. And they had all different colors, so I think I ate 6 macaroons.
I missed that. I don't know where I was.
But that was like all week. It was like, you know, in between classes, it was these big celebrations we also did like a highest growth per year breakfast or something we went to.
We got to go to a breakfast. Yeah.
I mean, I swear, like every time we turned around, we were like
invited to some honorary dinner.
It was fun. It was amazing.
Or breakfast. Yeah.
It made me really feel like we partnered with the right
Or
people.
you'd go into something. Let's show those bandanas. So every time we turned around, they were giving us like a little Yeti, or they give us a bandana. So
We should give some of
we're
these
going to give
out.
some of these away
Yeah.
to people who come in and get some machines. But if you notice, this one was folded just so, because I have a yellow Harley, so I was going to wear this. And it has sewing machines. Look at how cute this was. So we got these going into one dinner one night or one event. So purple. So we're going to give these away for people who come in and follow some of the things that we have to give away, or to sell, or to do some of those things. Wow. But yeah, so, and show them that. We got this.
Top 10.
All right. So top 10 in our district.
Can I get it so it actually shows? There we go.
There you
Kinda.
go. So we got
You
a
get the
plaque
idea.
for that.
Yeah.
So that was cool as well.
I felt like they really care about the dealers.
Yeah.
I really felt like
They
they
really
didn't. They sure know how to throw a party. That's for sure.
Exactly. All right. So what was the big thing this year? Tell them.
Are we gonna talk about the machine now?
Yeah.
Okay. So there has been, as many of you guys know, every year, Bernina comes out with something cool. So the last year was the CAFE special editions. And I think the couple years before that, it was the Crystal Edition, special edition with the Swarovski crystals or whatever. But this year was super exciting because it's actually a new product reveal. And what they did was they released a new machine called the 790 Pro, and it's incredible. And I mean, for the insiders and the people who kind of know, there's always sort of a competition between the 790 and the 880, which one people really liked more. The 880 was the flagship machine, but some people just love that 7 series. And now I just feel like the stuff they added to the 790 Pro kind of makes it go whoop. So we're really excited about that. Heidi, do you want to play? I think we got the little video. It's just like a minute or so.
Designed to bring you more features that enhance the joy of...
You on it or no?
It should, yeah.
Okay.
I hope so. All right.
Designed to bring you more features that enhance the joy of creating. This is the new Bernina 790 Pro. The joy of beautiful results. Next generation Bernina Stitch Precision 2 technology makes your sewing, quilting, and embroidery experience quieter and more precise. With a superior stitch quality and embroidery speed that's up to 33% higher. The joy of getting a helping hand. The new automatic needle threader on the B790 Pro assists you with getting started, conveniently and quickly. Experience the joy of freedom. Wi-Fi now connects the B790 Pro directly to Bernina Embroidery Software 9 to transfer embroidery designs, or connect to the Bernina Stitch Out app. You can monitor embroidery progress in thread colors remotely and receive notifications when your attention is needed. Perfect placement for the perfect project. The Bernina Pinpoint Laser marks your start and travel points as you sew and embroider. Feel the joy of precision and control. The joy of unlimited quilting. The B790 Pro lets you easily customize quilt designs with unlimited scaling and setting of stitches per inch. The joy of evolving on the go. The 4-point placement function on the B790 Pro allows you to morph your designs to precisely suit your project. From the joy of mastering a stitch to the joy of completing a project, the Bernina 790 Pro gives you the tools to perfect every project, every stitch, every single time.
Are we back? That's us now? Yeah, so that's super, super cool. So, I mean, they really added some really cool features to this. And if you're like panicking right now because you bought a 790 or an 880 from me the last 2 years, don't freak out. Yeah, I got some really cool ideas that we're going to talk about after we're done talking about the machine. So as you can see, I mean, let's just real quick, it's going to be 33% faster on the embroidery over the 50% increase they just did with that new module. So this thing flies. It's quieter. That automatic needle threader is amazing.
Oh my God. Right. So I sat down in a class and I did not know like even how to stitch on the 700 series at all. So I sit down and I needed help, right? But I was just blown away, one, with that needle threader, how it just automatically threaded that. Not like some of the things I have to do on my Juki to get it threaded. Like I have to do like these little tricks to get it to go. But that to me was awesome. And then it really is quiet. It's not noisy. Fast. Yeah. Like I was just like, when it was stitching out this design, I'm going to show you this design in a minute. I just couldn't believe how it was flying over that. Yeah.
So also the Wi-Fi is now built into the machine and it's compatible with an app. So if you're using embroidery and you're running a design out, let's say you're quilting or you're doing like a motif or whatever you're doing, you can be in another room. You can pause the machine. You can monitor the machine. It will tell you to change the color. You can do all that remotely through an app, which is so cool. I mean, I was watching that and I'm going, oh my God, I hope that they do that with the Q series, the Q-Matic. So like if you're, doing something, if you're piecing and you're running your machine, you have the ability to pause it if you hear something, if you hear it getting low on bobbin or you hear a thread break or something's going wrong.
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, that would just be so awesome. So they got an app that hooks up with the machine. Your machine hooks up to your Wi-Fi network, and you're gonna be able to monitor your progress as that thing runs. And then also, if you guys saw the laser, so that
was fun.
Yeah. So the laser itself, and we'll show the project here. The laser itself works for every stitch the machine does, and there's over 2,000 stitches programmed into this machine. I looked at the stats.
And then it also, like if you move your needle over, it follows the needle. So no matter what position that your needle is in, the laser is lined up. And I don't think anybody else has that.
Every stitch and every needle position for the stitch. And it's showing you where the needle is going to go and where it's about to go. So when you do the blanket stitch that we're going to show, all of a sudden I'm doing this. And I mean, I don't have a lot of experience doing applique, that type of stuff. But I'm like, oh my God, why is my stuff so good? Like, and it's because that needle or that laser, it actually makes it so easy for you to kind of anticipate a half step ahead as you're sort of manipulating your applique through the machine. So it will make you better. It will make you better without a doubt. Mm-hmm. And then also there's a couple really neat, for those of you that don't have space for a long arm or who are really into like custom quilting and using the embroidery machine to quilt quilts. Well, they're kind of rebranding that embroidery module as a quilting module, and now it reads BQM files.
Right.
So all of my long arm files, the machine will do in the hoop, and you can actually go in and it will do like quilting mode where you can adjust stitches per inch. So it will quilt.
Right. So that to me was the prize, right? Yeah. Because I'm really not into a lot of embroidery, maybe to do some lettering, right? But to me, I thought, okay, wait a minute. So you mean now I can make a mini quilt, and let's say I have little blocks, and then I have little alternating blocks that have space, right? They're just plain. Well, now I can program a little wreath in there, and it'll quilt the little wreath in there for me. So if you can kind of see this is this is cork, all right, and it's a diamond. So this BQM file was actually a square, and they taught us how to adjust it, like how to bend it, how to morph it.
So it's called 4-point placement. So some of you that are in that, you might have heard of like precision placement or pinpoint placement. Primarily, it's just been 2 points that you can kind of adjust, but now essentially you use that laser, that's the needle, and you move that over, and then you're able to select every corner of the design, 4 points, and morph it perfectly into sort of odd shapes. Like this diamond isn't even I think they did it on purpose.
Right.
It's not a very perfect diamond.
Right.
But the idea is that you can fill perfectly any quilting block. And essentially all you're doing is, instead of like a long arm with a frame where you're doing the advanced, which is basically essentially a giant hoop, you're just rehooping and putting something into every block as you, or border or whatever.
Right.
But
and
really
like if you want, like maybe you don't want your quilting design to be out near the edges, you can do it. You can place everything like a 1/4 inch in, or all of those things were so adjustable.
Yeah.
And so amazing that I was like, okay, I can see where I would use that.
She's really resisted this whole embroidery thing.
You know that, right? You know, I'm
but like, I think you could see like kind of how awesome.
Well,
that
and then
is.
here's another thing. So like, I have a new book coming out for Lakeside, a new flannel, right? And I have some pretty big files, and I'm going to show you them right here. So now, like, look at this. So this is going to be a like a sign or a wall hanging or whatever. I'm going to do this on the new Bernina. So now I don't have to hand do this. I can do this with the blanket stitch on that Bernina because I'm going to use flannel on flannel. I'm not going to use wool on that. And then like this big oar. So I'm going to do this oar on a pillow with some words on it. And I'm going to be able to do that all now on that machine. And I'm super excited about it. So
yeah, so she's getting the first one.
Yeah.
But we ordered quite a few of them.
Yes, we did.
So we anticipate this to be pretty popular.
And they already have them in stock. So they should be here next week.
We should get the first. We're not going to get all of them that we ordered right away, but we should be able to get some inventory for people who want to come and put their hands on. But what we kind of talked about, because I was obviously super excited, but we really care about our customers. And I'm like, there's going to be some ladies that are really going to be like bummed because 2 years ago they got a 790, and the 790 up until a week ago was the sort of that dream machine. So part of the benefits and the realities of this new top of the line machine is that this 790 Pro is more on the line of an 880 as far as price point.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a little bit of a trade-in program that we had just talked about, because we really want people to feel like when they buy a machine, they're investing in sort of like the brand itself and investing into us. We want to kind of be a part of their journey from that beginner machine to their intermediate machine, or,
it's kind of like diamonds. All right. When you're first married, you get this little diamond because that's all you can afford and you love it. Right. But then as you grow and you get married longer and you put up with him for longer and you deserve maybe a bigger diamond, you can trade that smaller diamond up for your bigger diamond. Right. And I don't know what we're talking about. Right. But anyway, so your Bernina will always hold value.
So what we're going to do is for people, especially my customers who were in here and buying 880s and 790s, for the 790 specifically, we're going to do a $9,000 trade-in value for your machine.
That's $9,000 for your
So essentially, if you bought your machine in the last couple of years, you're going to essentially have run it almost for free. You're almost going to get your money back. If you're looking at this and you're heartbroken, because you had just spent, a decent.
Because we don't know what's coming. We have no idea.
Yeah. So, I'm glad that they're doing this. Obviously what this does is it drives the industry forward and gives us all better tools.
And it's technology. It's like your iPhone, right? If you still got an old iPhone and it's $1,400 for a new iPhone, it's the same thing. We're used to it.
So this is what we're going to create, because I think this is what's going to be really awesome. So there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to want to trade in their 790s, 770s, 590s, 880s. And what we're going to do, and what we encourage you to do, is if you want to take advantage of our initial little trade-in special we're going to do specifically for the 880 and the 790 and get into one of these 790 Pros, we're going to have this trade-in value to kind of kick off the release of this product. But also, for those of you who are like, well, what does this have to do to me? Why am I listening to this? Bernina dealerships, you only can buy local. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a waiting list for used machines. And this is something I actually learned hanging out with all these other dealers and how they do things. And that is, if you have been, coveting a 790, right, all of a sudden now, I think we're going to be able to, especially if we get the quantity of these, we're going to be able to ship these to you. We're going to service them, clean and oil with Jake.
The used ones.
The used one. We're going to get these ready to go. Yeah, the 790 Plus is the old machine. 790 Pro is the new. I know that can be a little confusing. Right. But these 790 Pluses that are going to be coming in, we're going to be able to sell these for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, depending on the stitch count.
And how much were they new?
Yeah, $11,000.
So maybe that wasn't in your price range, but maybe not.
For those of you that are sticking with us to this point and kind of bearing with us as we kind of talk about the sewing machine side of things, if you have been kind of wanting one of those like a 590, for example. I know a customer right now that I'm going to probably call after this, who I'm going to talk to about setting up an appointment, who bought the 590. It was kind of hemming and hawing, wishing she would have gotten the 790. Well, now I'm going to give her a really good deal to buy that 590 back so she can get into that 7 series with the bigger hoop. But this allows people who couldn't afford a 590 to maybe get into a pretty much new machine that are very well cared for. These people paid a lot of money for these machines. They love them. And
they're still good machines.
Well,
but they're just not
like
the latest technology.
The 790 was the latest thing up until like literally a week ago. So this will be hopefully a 360-degree win. We'll sell a lot of these machines. People who want to get into the latest and greatest can, and then people who want to get into those
What about
machines.
People who buy used machines? Are you going to teach them how to use them?
Yeah, people. Locally. Yeah. That's always preferable. Preferable. But sometimes a good deal is a good deal, and if you can get into a 790, for $5,000 or $6,000, that's a good deal. What do we got here?
Is there a lightweight Bernina great for retreats?
Okay, I see. Okay, questions. Okay, a lightweight Bernina great for retreats. Okay, I'm glad you asked. So this is the machine I would recommend looking for is the 4 series. So there is no lightweight Berninas in that they're kind of metal, and they're lighter, but I mean they're pretty robust machines, right?
Yeah.
So I want to say that it's still probably 13 or 14
and pretty
pounds.
much anywhere you go, if you need help with your machine, you can find somebody to help bring your machine in for you if you're worried about how heavy your machine is.
So that being said, this new machine, this 435, I believe, off the top of my head, comes with that jumbo bobbin, the same bobbin that's in the 790 Pro we just talked about, for, very expensive, not cheap. It comes with the same hook and bobbin, that jumbo bobbin. And I want to say that the special, and hopefully it didn't just expire, but they were selling those for $1,499. So $1,500, and you're getting a perfect companion for your 5 series or your 7 series that uses the same bobbin. So it's all interchangeable. So for a lightweight Bernina for retreats, the 4 series is where it's at. The 475 and the 480 would probably be what I would recommend. But if budget is a concern, I mean, the 435 is great. Okay. I'm
just laughing at some of the comments here.
What are they?
All right. So Patty wants to know, why are we talking about, if we can only sell local, why are we talking about this for everyone? All right. So you're not being negative, Patty. It's a good question.
No.
Right?
So it is true that the new machines
the new ones.
Yeah. However, we can sell used machines. We can ship used machines.
Yes.
So if you're looking to get, I mean, the idea is that we can sell these to a bigger group, a larger group of people.
Yeah.
And you can get a price and find a machine that maybe you can't find locally. And also, a lot of people take it for granted that people have a local dealer. Well, some people in Wyoming and some people that I've talked to, they don't have a local dealer. And actually, we've made deliveries a little bit further away because if you live in the middle of nowhere, right, a lot of times you have no choice but to shop online.
Right. And just because it doesn't relate to you doesn't mean it doesn't relate to a different type of customer. Okay, Patty?
Yep.
And we appreciate you for hanging out with us still.
And support your local dealer.
Yeah.
Go and we just want you to be aware of like the latest and greatest fun things in the industry.
So then we also have a couple questions about can they trade in their 20-year-old machine for $9,000? So explain who's going to get $9,000.
Yeah, so the 790 plus, we were talking specifically talking about the 790 plus that was just the latest and greatest. So we just sold quite a few machines to people here who, paid, upwards of $10,000 for a machine. And now this new thing just came out.
So what we're saying is we're not going to make a lot on this new 790 Pro. Yeah. We want to make you not feel bad that you bought that machine. So we're going to basically not make hardly any money on it because we want you to have a new machine. But what we might make some money on is if we sell your old machine.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
So we're willing to do that so you're happy to have the newest and best
machine. We want
machine.
to create a pathway for the people that do want the latest and greatest, because I'm one of those people in my hobbies.
Right.
I'm kind of a snob. I want the best. And if I buy something and then a year later, I'm just like so disappointed. We just want to create a sort of a ladder for people and a deal, especially to reward like loyal customers.
Right.
You know, and I think that people feel like if you're not just buying the machine, but you're buying into the brand and the idea that these things hold value, that only raises the entire brand as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I can buy a 4 Series and then I want it because I can't afford that 770 that I want, and then I know that in 2 years I can get a large chunk of that back. It just makes it really easy to not feel like you're missing out. Okay, so what do we got here? Yes, it will hoop a quilt with batting and backing. The throat space on the 790 Pro is the same as the old 790, so they didn't change the body. So all of the upgrades were into the software and into adding the needle threader and some mechanical changes they did to introduce that Stitch Precision 2. Are the electronics intuitive? I mean, I think,
oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's,
you press a button and
it'll
tell you what to do next.
What you need to do is you need to come in and take a class. And what we do is, because these machines there's a lot to learn, right? I mean, these things are super capable. Sort of what we do is when you come in and buy it, we do sort of an introductory class and just sort of get you to be able to thread the machine and operate it and kind of get started. And then a lot of people, what they do is they join a club like we have here, or they come back and they say, okay, so I learned the basics. I understand how to get to my main stitches I wanted to get to. Now show me how to do this, or show me how to do the pinpoint placement thing again, things like that. So when are they available? So my understanding is that our first model, her machine, is shipping like today. Like literally, I was just on the phone with them. So hopefully they send that one plus a few. I didn't get the actual whatever you call that, the order that they send you to let you know how many they're sending. But hopefully they send us quite a few. But
we ordered a lot. I'm a little nervous about how many we ordered.
Yeah, well, we definitely wanted to have inventory for people. So approximate cost of the machine. So they're right on the level of the 880. So you're looking at like 14,000. And then will you be offering classes? Yes, we will be offering classes. We also have some cool
Patty
events.
had another comment. She said, I think embroidery is boring.
Yeah.
Well, Patty was never my favorite thing either, but embroidery can be quilting now. So to me, that's a game changer when you can use an embroidery module to quilt. So like I said, now I don't really want to embroider, but I want to quilt.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it.
So no, she's just being honest. And, you know, if I'm being honest.
Thanks for pulling that up, Heidi. That's great.
Hey, at least she's not afraid to say what's on her mind,
Yeah.
right? Hey, we're all, and at least she has her name. She's not hiding behind some handle. All right, Patty?
Oh, my God.
All right, I get it. All right,
It's like those
we all evolve, because I'm not into, you know, embroidery, you know, but there are a lot of people who are, Patty, and we need to reach out to them too. And hey, maybe we need to figure out how to make embroidery not boring. Like I have some really cool designs that he has stitched out that are awesome.
Actually, that brings us to a funny point. We won't go into specifics or whatever, but
because we only have a few minutes because our batteries are going dead.
Let's be honest though. A lot of the embroidery stuff
is boring.
Is boring. Like we looked at a lot of designs, and it's kind of like this.
And I look at Luke, and he looks at me. I'm like, "Do you really think this stuff is cool?"
No, but we're gonna make it cool. So we're gonna try to digitize a lot of your designs, and
that my stuff is, you know, but
there's some like Hallmark 1990s like weird sort of vibe to a lot of the stuff that actually Patty's not wrong.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Patty, some of it is boring.
I find it boring.
Hey, let's give Patty a prize.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
we
should send her something, Bernina. We should also send the person who was talking about that local. We'll send that person something too.
Let's give Patty a prize. Make sure she's one of them. We're gonna give an extra prize.
You got to give away this stuff.
All right, let's give away the prize before we run out of time here. But hey, we will be talking some more about some stuff, but we wanted to just really talk about Bernina today. While we're so super excited about it, I don't know what she's doing, but okay. So I have 3 winners here. Now, if you're not Bernina, my 3 winners, I have some Bernina prizes. So give me those fat quarters there that we have. In the email that you send Heidi, say not a Bernina owner. Okay. So I have some Bernina fat quarters here that we've had here. So 3 sets. If you win and you're not a Bernina person or you don't want these, we'll send you something else. Sharon Bunnell, you are one of the winners. Retina Dampier and Carrie Harvey, you are our 3 winners. There's your email. Type that email in and say you won and give us your address so we can send you your prizes today. Is there anything we forgot before we close out for today?
Patty O'Donnell needs to email.
And Patty, send us your email, honey, okay? We love that you are honest and not mean about it. You were like, hey, I hate to be negative, but
I'm gonna be negative.
but I'm going to be negative. All right, so Patty, send us your email as well. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us on this holiday week. I'm going to go back to hanging out with my babies. Jessica's going to go hang out with her sick baby who just had surgery. And we really appreciate y'all. And if you want to get on the list for a used machine that we might be taking in trade,
Bernina@primitivegallons.us.
yeah, so there's an email. If you have any questions for Luke at all, anything about a new machine, a used machine, any of that stuff, there's your email. He will get a hold of you and answer any of your questions. Okay, everyone? Thanks so much, and bye for now.